Top 15 Strangest Creatures in the Ocean. On Earth, we humans make our homes on land, but the truth is that the surface of our planet is mostly covered by oceans. Deep, dark, and mysterious. What if the world beneath the waves holds life so uncanny your imagination can't keep up? Down there, daylight dies in a few meters, pressure climbs like a mountain turned upside down, and evolution writes in bioluminescent ink. Tonight we dive past reefs and wrecks, past the twilight where shapes turn to shadows and into the black, where strangeness thrives. Creatures with glass heads, mouths that unhinge like stage curtains, shrimp that punch like pistols, and jellyfish that turn back time. Take a breath, hold your nerve. This is the top 15 strangest creatures in the ocean. Number 15, Goblin Shark. Near the edges of continental slopes lives one of the oldest surviving shark species, the Goblin Shark. Its skin is pale pink and semi-transparent, so thin that the blood beneath gives it a flushed tone. The shark's most unusual feature is its jaw. When prey comes close, the entire mouth launches forward in a rapid projection, snapping shut with nail-like teeth. This slingshot feeding allows it to catch fast-moving fish and squid before the jaws retract. Goblin sharks can reach over 12 feet in length and are typically found 300 to 1,300 meters deep. Their long, flat snouts are packed with electroreceptors that detect faint electrical signals from hidden prey. Soft-bodied and slow, they conserve energy by ambushing rather than chasing. With ancestry stretching back more than 100 million years, they are a direct link to the age of dinosaurs, living fossils in motion. From this ancient predator, we move to a smaller creature with weapons that rival a gunshot. Number 14. Mantis Shrimp. The mantis shrimp may look small, but it's one of the most powerful hunters on the reef. Some species strike with club-like limbs, while others spear their prey with barbed claws. These limbs accelerate faster than a bullet, creating bubbles that momentarily reach temperatures near the surface of the sun. Even a miss can stun or kill. Its eyes are another marvel. Each one can move independently and contains up to 16 color receptors, compared to 3 in humans. They can detect ultraviolet, polarized, and even circularly polarized light, giving them one of the most complex visual systems in nature. Mantis shrimps live in burrows or coral crevices, defending their territory with precision strikes. Some species form long-term pairs, sharing dens and caring for eggs together. In captivity, their punches can crack aquarium glass. Evolution turned this colorful crustacean into both a scientist's puzzle and a weaponized masterpiece. From lightning-fast claws, we head deeper, where speed gives way to survival through stillness. Number 13. Blobfish. Often labeled the world's ugliest animal, the blobfish's appearance at the surface is misleading. The famous saggy look happens because it lives under enormous pressure, 600 to 1,200 meters deep. When brought up, the pressure difference causes its body to deform. In its natural environment, the blobfish looks like a typical deep-sea fish. Its body is made mostly of gelatinous tissue, slightly less dense than seawater, allowing it to float effortlessly above the seafloor. Blobfish feed on crustaceans, sea urchins, and organic matter drifting by. They rarely move quickly, conserving energy in a region where food is scarce. Far from a joke, this fish is a well-designed survivor, built to handle an environment that would crush most other animals. From a creature shaped by pressure, we travel to one designed for disguise. Number 12. Leafy Seadragon. In the coastal waters of southern Australia drifts the leafy seadragon, a relative of the seahorse. Its body is covered in leaf-like extensions that perfectly mimic floating seaweed, making it almost invisible to predators. Rather than swimming quickly, it moves with tiny transparent fins that ripple gently, matching the rhythm of the surrounding kelp. Its camouflage is so effective that even trained divers can miss it completely. Like seahorses, the males carry and hatch the eggs. Each one can hold over 200 bright orange eggs attached to a specialized patch on his tail, releasing fully formed young after about a month. Leafy sea dragons are slow and fragile. They rely on disguise instead of defense, feeding on small crustaceans and plankton sucked through their long snouts. From mimicry in the shallows, we move to a drifter that lives upside down and borrows its weapons. Number 11. Blue Dragon. The blue dragon, also known as the blue sea slug, is a small but striking predator. Measuring only about an inch long, it floats upside down on the ocean's surface, carried by wind and current. A gas-filled sac in its stomach keeps it buoyant. This animal preys on dangerous creatures like the Portuguese man-o'-war. It is immune to their venom and stores their stinging cells inside its own tissues, reusing them for defense. A single blue dragon can deliver a sting stronger than that of its prey. Its coloration is a form of counter-shading in reverse, silver on the underside to blend with the sky, and deep blue on top to merge with the sea's color when seen from below. This helps it hide from both aerial and underwater predators. Groups of blue dragons can gather in floating clusters called blue fleets. When food is scarce, they sometimes eat each other, absorbing additional stinging cells in the process. Delicate but dangerous, they turn borrowed weapons into survival tools. From the drifting surface, we'll now descend into darkness, where fish grow transparent heads. Number 10. Barreleye fish. At around 600 to 800 meters below the surface, lives the barreleye fish, one of the most unusual animals ever recorded. Its transparent head is filled with a clear fluid that protects its large, tubular eyes. Through this dome, it can actually look upward through its own skull to detect the faint silhouettes of prey drifting above. The eyes are highly sensitive to light, glowing green under illumination. They can rotate inside the head, looking straight up when scanning for food and forward when feeding. This adaptation helps it locate small, bioluminescent animals while avoiding the stinging tentacles of siphonophores and jellyfish it feeds among. Despite its fragile appearance, the barreleye is an efficient hunter. It can remain almost motionless in the water column, conserving energy while scanning the world above. Its small mouth and precise movements make it well suited for life in the deep, where energy efficiency means survival. From a fish with a see-through head, we move to one that hides underground with a trap built for ambush. Number 9. Bobbit worm. On the tropical seafloor, the bobbit worm waits completely buried in sand, its antennae just barely visible. When a fish or shrimp passes above, we feel the worm launches upward with incredible speed, clamping down with jagged jaws strong enough to cut prey in half. These worms can reach lengths of over 3 meters, about 10 feet, though most are smaller. Their bodies are covered in iridescent armor-like segments that reflect a metallic sheen when light hits them. The bobbit worm doesn't chase, it ambushes. Once it grabs its prey, it drags it underground, where digestion takes place in safety. It decorates the entrance to its burrow with bits of coral, shells, and stones, possibly to stabilize the opening or lure curious animals closer. This predator can regenerate lost body parts, allowing it to recover from attacks. Patient, hidden, and incredibly fast, it is one of the most effective ambushers in the ocean. From a sneaky setter of traps, we shift to a scavenger built like a deep-sea tank. Number 8. Giant Isopod. The giant isopod is essentially a massive version of the pillbugs found on land. Living between 500 and 2,000 meters deep, it can grow up to half a meter long. These crustaceans are scavengers, feeding mostly on the remains of dead whales, fish, and squid that sink to the seabed, known as whale falls. Its thick, segmented shell protects it from pressure and predators. Large antennae sweep across the sediment, detecting chemical traces of decaying matter. Because food is scarce, giant isopods can go weeks or even months without eating. When a meal finally arrives, they gorge themselves to the point of immobility. Their metabolism slows, allowing them to survive long periods of starvation. They move slowly, methodically, often seen crawling across the seafloor like ancient machines cleaning up the remains of the ocean's battles. From the armored scavenger, we approach a creature that farms bacteria for food near underwater volcanoes. Number 7. Yeti crab. The Yeti crab was discovered in 2005 near hydrothermal vents in the South Pacific. These deep-sea vents release water heated by magma, reaching temperatures of 400 degrees Celsius just a few meters away from freezing water. The Yeti crab is adapted to this extreme environment. Its claws and limbs are covered in fine hair-like structures called setae. On these bristles, it cultivates bacteria that feed on the chemical-rich vent fluids. The crab then eats the bacteria it grows, essentially farming its own food. Because sunlight doesn't reach these depths, the entire ecosystem depends on chemosynthesis, not photosynthesis. The Yeti crab waves its arms to increase oxygen flow for its bacterial gardens, a behavior scientists describe as farming motions. These crabs gather in dense clusters near vent openings, staying close enough to benefit from the warmth, but far enough to avoid lethal heat. From a farmer in the dark, we move to a drifter that carries its own cloak of defense. Number 6. Vampire squid. The vampire squid lives in some of the deepest, least oxygenated parts of the ocean, areas where most animals cannot survive. Despite its name, it doesn't hunt blood. Instead, it feeds on marine snow, a constant fall of organic particles and detritus from upper waters. Its body is soft and gelatinous, with long webbed arms that form a cloak-like shape. When threatened, the squid turns itself inside out, hiding its head and body behind this web while exposing soft spines for protection. Rather than ink, it ejects a glowing cloud of bioluminescent mucus to confuse predators in the dark. Its small size, about 30 centimeters across, helps it conserve energy in a habitat with very little oxygen. The vampire squid bridges the gap between ancient squid and modern octopus lineages. It's an evolutionary survivor from a time when the oceans were still forming their complex food webs. From a quiet drifter, we turn to a creature whose jaw opens wider than its body. Number 5. Gulper eel. The gulper eel is one of the strangest predators in the deep ocean. Its mouth is enormous, large enough to engulf prey much bigger than itself. The lower jaw can unhinge like a net, ballooning outward to trap small fish and crustaceans in a single gulp. This ingenious hunter uses a bioluminescent lure at the tip of its tail, a red or pink glowing organ, to attract prey in the darkness. The eel's long, ribbon-like body can reach lengths of up to 2.5 meters, but is extremely lightweight, making it well-suited to deep water pressure. Scientists believe it uses its huge mouth not only for feeding, but also as a net for catching swarms of small shrimp and plankton. Its stomach can stretch dramatically to accommodate large meals when opportunities arise. Few gulper eels have been seen alive. Most observations come from deep-sea cameras and trawls. Even in high-pressure darkness, this eel demonstrates one rule of the deep. When food is scarce, adaptability is everything. From massive jaws, we move to a predator that hunts with a built-in light. Number 4. Anglerfish. In the deep ocean, light is a weapon. The anglerfish uses a bioluminescent lure, an extension of its dorsal spine tipped with glowing bacteria to attract prey. When a smaller fish approaches the light, the anglerfish strikes with sharp, inward-pointing teeth that prevent escape. There are over 200 known species of anglerfish, most living thousands of meters below the surface. They vary in size from a few inches to more than a meter long. Their bodies are soft, adapted to crushing pressure and total darkness. As interesting as its hunting methods are, the anglerfish's mating ritual is still odder. one of the strangest in nature. The male, much smaller than the female, bites onto her body. Over time, his tissues fuse with hers, sharing blood and nutrients until he becomes a permanent reproductive organ. This adaptation ensures reproduction in an environment where finding a mate is rare. With its glowing lure and parasitic pairings, the anglerfish shows how survival in the abyss often demands extreme solutions. From a living lantern, we rise to a colony that functions as one organism. Number 3. Portuguese man-o'-war. The Portuguese man-o'-war looks like a jellyfish, but it's actually a siphonophore, a colony made of many specialized individuals working together as one. The main body is a gas-filled float, or pneumatophore, that catches the wind like a sail. Beneath it trail long tentacles, sometimes over 30 meters, lined with thousands of venomous cells used to paralyze fish and small crustaceans. Each part of the colony has a specific role. Some individuals are responsible for feeding, others for reproduction, and others for movement. Together, they form a coordinated unit capable of both drifting and hunting. While their sting can cause severe pain and even allergic reactions in humans, the man-o'-war is an important predator in surface ecosystems. Sea turtles, especially the loggerhead, are immune to its venom and feed on it regularly. From a floating colony, we descend again into the depths in search of true ocean giants. Number 2. Giant squid. For centuries, stories of enormous tentacled monsters inspired legends of sea serpents and krakens. Today, we know those stories were based on the real giant squid. Reaching lengths of up to 12 meters, 40 feet, the giant squid has the largest eyes of any known animal, up to 30 centimeters across. These eyes allow it to detect even the faintest light in deep water, including the movement of approaching predators like sperm whales. Its 2 long feeding tentacles are equipped with rotating hooks and powerful suckers, designed to seize prey from a distance. Once captured, the prey is pulled toward a beak capable of slicing through thick flesh. The giant squid lives in the deep scattering layer, usually between 300 and 1,000 meters below the surface, where it remains one of the most elusive animals on Earth, with live sightings still rare despite modern technology. From a giant of the abyss, we end with a creature that defies the aging process itself. Number 1. Immortal jellyfish. The immortal jellyfish is a small, transparent species only a few millimeters wide, but it carries one of nature's most unusual abilities. When faced with injury, starvation, or stress, it can revert its adult body back into its juvenile stage, a process known as transdifferentiation. This ability effectively resets its life cycle, allowing it to start over instead of dying from age-related decline. Although it can still be eaten or infected by disease, it appears to be biologically capable of avoiding natural death indefinitely. This process has made the immortal jellyfish a subject of study for aging research. Understanding how it reprograms its cells could reveal clues about regeneration and longevity in other organisms, maybe even in ourselves, earning it the number 1 spot on our list. And there you have it, the top 15 strangest creatures in the ocean. From sharks with spring-loaded jaws to crabs that farm bacteria. From glowing predators to colonies that act as a single being, each of these creatures is a solution to life under extreme conditions. The ocean is full of adaptations that seem strange only because they're built for worlds we rarely see. Every shape and behavior answers a question: how to eat, how to hide, how to survive pressure, cold, and darkness. And every time we explore deeper, we discover something new, proof that life's creativity has no limits. Which of these creatures surprised you the most? The goblin shark's slingshot bite, the anglerfish's glowing lure, or the jellyfish that can turn back time? Tell us in the comments, and if this dive inspired you, like, subscribe, and join us again. Because here on Nature's Arcana, wonder isn't rare, it's everywhere beneath the surface.